All right, Shalom, Yasharala Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders, great millstone, peace and blessings to the whole elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whomever you may be, wherever you may be, Shalom, Yasharala Shalom. All right, we're going to get into Exodus chapter 12. We're not going to read this whole chapter. We're going to break it up into two parts, just to keep it, shorter, because there's different portions and sections here, so we're going to deal with them in a certain way, which the top of this should be straightforward to you. All right, so Exodus chapter 12 verse 1, and it says what? The Passover lamb. All right, so this is the in between. All right, this is and I hate to even talk about it, but it's the facts. All right, where you have Israelites who are they act like donkeys, all right, around the Passover time. Okay, who was that? Was it Josiah the Elder? I can't remember who it was who held those flamboyant Passovers. But anyways, today in real time, you have Israelites who make light of the Lord's Passover. All right, when you go into the history, the Passover was a very dreadful time period, man, because we were ready to get up out of Egypt. All right, the last thing was commanded is that we bar every one of our neighbor. All right, and then after that, here's the next thing, all right, in our, way to deliverance, man, where we're commanded, to keep the Lord's Passover. All right. So, which pretty much here, it's straightforward, as I just said, man. All right. So this was a very, a time of, being on the edge of our seats, all right, and not knowing, what's to be of this night to come. All right. And let me see what these precepts going to. Okay, so these are scriptures about the Passover. Yep. So, Exodus 12:1, we're going to read probably down to like verse 32 and call it a session. So it says, the Passover lamb says, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So this right here, all right, kills the noise for people that saying that, or the Sabbath is on Sunday, or the Sabbath is perpetually from Friday to Saturday. Right, even back then, and us being, for all those years under the Egyptians had what, was it a 10-day week like we have today? All right, under this calendar day, 7 days in a week. I believe the Egyptians had 10 in a week, and in a month it would be 30 days, so 3 weeks in a month. All right, so for those that think the Sabbath is which they also go off because they don't do it by the lunar calendar, and the scriptures tell us that. All right. How to do the Sabbath day. It's according to the new moon, which is the darkened moon, not the full white moon you see. All right. That's the full moon. All right. But the full dark moon that you see, that's the new moon. Okay. So not the white moon, but the dark moon. All right. When it's full, that's the new moon. That is how we things are according. All right. And so they go off on that, which is why they don't keep the Sabbath day perfectly. Okay. Or even then, we all just rehearsing righteous acts. But when the scriptures tell you how to do this according to the new moon, there should be no saying that it's perpetually Friday or Saturday or it's Sunday or whatever the case may be. All right. And so it says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. All right. So where's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Saturday? It wasn't there. OK, where's the 7 days? Who knows? It wasn't there. All right. Because we know the Lord says he rested on the 7th day, all right, from all the work. But once again, under the Egyptians, they had a 10-day week, and we were captive under them. So you don't think that we have to follow their calendar as they seemingly control the days and the weeks and the months and stuff like that. See? So the Lord is now giving us, this is the beginning. And also this goes to show you around the time period, which is what? Probably around, the beginning of spring. Okay. But anyways, it says this month shall be unto you the beginning, which spring is what? Everything, so they say spring forward. Everything comes back to life. Leaves, flowers, trees, and things of that nature. All right. Or blooming all over again. Okay. You'll start to see certain, bugs and insects coming out. All right. Caterpillars are turning into butterflies and stuff like that. Right. Life. Okay. So it says this month shall be unto you. And that's exactly what we got. Life, man. Because we were released from this prison, from the Egyptians, man. It says this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the it shall be the first month of the year to you. All right. Not January, where a new year comes in the middle of a season. Where do they do that at? You got 4 quarters in a year, which are broken up by the seasons, but yet on Esau's calendar, a new year comes in the middle of winter. That don't sound right, okay? So it says, speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of their souls. So if there's a small household, okay, y'all can just bring it together. So there's, everybody's partaking in the Passover, and, there's not just this whole lamb for, 3 people. All right. So it says, next unto his house, take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating, you see, shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. No, not the goat with the eye patch, or the sheep with 3 legs. No, a perfect sacrifice, which we're not going to get into this now, but all these things play into Yahushua, man, because he was our Passover lamb, the sacrificial lamb. Scriptures even talk about how no bone of his body was broken. All right, and the scapegoat will, the priest will lay his hands on the scapegoat, and then a man of stature will lead it off into the wilderness and release it. Okay, and so on and so forth. Many more things. All right, the Lord became all these things for us. Okay, so this is very symbolic of later on what is to become Yahushua. Okay, but for now we're dealing with this Passover and just a physical lamb. So it says, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day. All right, meaning, taking care of it and keeping close watch on it, because once again, this had to be without blemish. So you had to watch it. All right, you didn't want it to break his leg, and then you might not be able to find another one. Okay, which I know is not that serious, but at the same time, it is that serious, right? And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, right? And when is the evening? When the sun is going down, all right? Tells you that in what? Genesis 1, the evening and the morning were the first day, okay? So Esau, also, has us off on the clock, according to days, all right? But we know, all right, that the evening and the morning, because what was first? Darkness. And he didn't say let there be darkness. It says let there be light, okay? So the evening and the morning were the first day, all right? So it says, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door post of the houses wherein they shall eat it. All right. And this is something that definitely you should not be doing today. All right. Because the rent man come by and see goat blood on the door or sheep blood on the door. Hey, I don't know where you're going, but you're going away from here. All right. You out of there. Okay. You out of that apartment, and you're going to be out there in some cuffs. Okay. Because they're definitely going to get rid of you. All right. And, charge you for however long, and you'll be released eventually. But yeah, don't do this. All right. This is something we did in, ancient times. All right. It says, and even if you own your house, all right, it'd be kind of crazy, to be painting blood on your doorpost, all right? And, you might eventually, might want to paint over it. So you're doing a lot of blood smearing and then repainting the blood, and it's just not wise, all right? It's not necessary either. It says, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door post of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, right? Roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with it bitter herbs they shall eat it. And you know what? I'm gonna also use, as I used last year, some horseradish. All right, hey, that is some that's some heavy stuff right there. But you know what? It's probably as bitter as you can get as far as herbs, but as well as horseradish being healthy for you. Okay, and that's if you can take the heat in the kitchen, right? Because man, that's some serious stuff right there. But it's also good for you, and it's probably as bitter as you can get it when you go into these bitter herbs. So it says, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast, all right, roast, okay, Because this was a perfect, not boiled. I think it mentions that if we go to another version. Let's see what the NLT says. If we can get it quick enough. Verse 8. Yeah, the same actually says, yep, the same night they must roast the meat over a fire and eat it along with bitter salad, greens, and bread made without yeast. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, roast, all right, with fire and unleavened bread. Like you see today, people not saying this is the same method they use, but you see people, eating pigs and stuff. They'll put the pig on a grill and turn it and turn it and turn it. All right. So basically, it's the whole entire sheep or goat. All right, with everything. As a matter of fact, we're about to read. It says, "And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, basically flat bread." Because we spoke about bread making before, all right, in one of these previous sessions, I believe. Okay, where we talked about how well, there's probably a couple different methods on making bread. I worked at this restaurant, so I had to actually measure my water carefully. Also had to measure the air temperature and everything, and then I would put it into the little mixer. Then I would have to flop the big thing on the table and peel it out from the little the metal pan or whatnot. And then I would cut my portions up. And what you would do after that is because you would cut your portions up, line it up on your pan under over the baking sheet, and then you would slide all of them on a tray or rack, a whole tall rack, and then you would slide that whole rack inside of a proofer. And what the proofer does is it gives it that right moisture in the air that it needs. So while it's sitting there, it's going to rise to the size it's supposed to rise to. And then once it's done proofing, you will pull it out and you slide the pan into the oven, however big your oven is, 2, 3 at a time, whatever. And then you will bake your bread, all right? And then there you go, bread, all right? So yeah, so now I just thought about it. I couldn't think of the word last time. The proofer. That's the machine I was talking about the last time. If you've been following the session, that's why I couldn't think of what it was called, the proofer, all right? You put the bread in the proofer and that's when, because it has yeast in it, that's when it's going to rise to whatever size it's supposed to be. And then after it's done proofing is when you can bake it. But we're not to use we're supposed to eat unleavened bread, so not leavened bread, all right? So basically flat bread, in other words, okay? Which I like flat bread, all right? It's very tasty, okay? But anyways, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs, they shall eat it, which, as I recommended, which was recommended to me, horseradish, all right? Verse 9 says, "Eat not of it raw, nor sodden," all right? Which means boiled, right? At all with water, okay? So not boiling, which goes to show you, not saying we're the only ones, but we're just speaking about the Israelites. That's a method, right? Because you might have seen your mom make, I don't know, maybe some chicken salad or something like that. And what she'll do is she'll boil the chicken and it makes it real tender to fall off the bones. So she pick out all the bones and then chop up the chicken, all right? And, see to make whatever else, all right? Okay. Or maybe some, potato salad, you're boiling potatoes, whatever the case may be. You get the point. I'm saying like boiling, all right? So, like I said, maybe we're not the only ones, but we're talking about the Israelites. So it goes to show you this is an Israelite method of cooking, boiling things, right? But we're not to sodden. We're not to, as a matter of fact, let's see what one of these words is the right one we're looking for. Just to bring it up on the screen. See, boil, cook, bake, roast, ripen, grow ripe. See, boil. Right, yeah. Eat not of it raw, because we shouldn't be eating raw meat or anything with blood in it, all right? Nor sodden or boil, right, at all with water, but roast, all right, with fire, his head with his legs and with the purtenance thereof. Basically saying you're not going to cut it open and pull out, a lung, a kidney, and, a liver and all this kind of stuff. You're not going to pull out this, just going to kill it, all right? And then you're going to roast it whole, okay? It says, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning," which goes to show you, once again, as we mentioned before, we're just rehearsing the righteous acts, all right? Because the average Israelite family today, we cannot, afford to buy a whole entire goat and not know, like whether, what kind of goat we grab, all right? Because the man might have sold it to us or whoever might have sold it to us. But how do we know, this, that, and the third thing? So once again, we're just rehearsing the righteous acts, man. All right. So it says, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire." So you're going to eat your fill, okay? And whatever's left, all right, you got to burn it up, okay? So it says, "And thus shall ye eat it." I'm sorry, shall ye eat Yeah, I said it right. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, right? Basically, fully clothed, like you were ready to leave, because this is what we were prepared for, to leave. All right. Your loins, so not in your PJs, right? All right. So it says, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste, right? So you're not sitting down like you're at some restaurant, taking your merry time, like you want a buffet, all right, all you can eat or whatever. No, you're supposed to eat this when you eat the Passover lamb. You're not supposed to play no games, all right? You're supposed to, you're supposed to get into it, all right, and go and scoff it down. And your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's Passover. Okay. As a matter of fact, before we close this portion here, because let me pull this up first, right? Passover, right? Just to hit it brief, we're not going to go into it deep. And you see the word there is Pesach, right? So it says Passover, sacrifice of Passover, animal victim of the Passover, festival of the Passover, which we spoke about Yahushua becoming these things for us. But I want to hit a quick angle real quick, because the churches get thrown off by this, talking about some, rabbin and stuff like that. You get the word Easter in the Bible, which was placed there strategically. All right. But when you actually, it's usually in all caps. But anyways, probably because it's not, it's an electronic Bible. But anyways, when you go to Easter, G39, 57, we didn't read the verse, Slakia. But yeah, when you go to Easter, it says the Paschal sacrifice, which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance from old from Egypt. You see? So the word Easter should not be there. This should be Pesach or Passover. See? The Paschal lamb, in example, the lamb the Israelites were accustomed to slay and eat on the 14th day of the month of Nisan, the first month of their year, in memory of the day on which their fathers, preparing to depart from Egypt, were bidden by the Most High to slay and eat a lamb and to sprinkle their doorposts with its blood, that the destroying angel, seeing the blood, might pass over their dwellings. Hamashiach crucified is likened to the slain Paschal lamb. All right. So, and he also was that destroying angel that came through, okay, for that deliverance. And it goes on, as we've been talking about a lot lately, the cloud that followed the Israelites in the wilderness, the pillar of cloud by day, the pillar of fire by night, that was Yahushua following us in the chariot, or actually not following us, guiding us in the chariot, okay? The Lord sent Yahushua, all right, from this destroying death angel here, and then even after leaving out of Egypt, okay, that pillar of cloud, okay? It says the Paschal Supper, the Paschal Feast, the Feast of the Passover extending from the 14th, blah, blah, all right? So, yeah. So, right here where it says Easter should be the word Pascha or Pesach, all right? Which is what? The Passover, all right? And that verse there, Acts 12:4, and when he apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him attending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. That was the account dealing with Peter, Apostle Peter. All right, so going back here, it says, and thus ye shall eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. All right, the great death that's coming. And against all the gods, all right, as we've been talking about, all these plagues, okay, were direct threats and attacks against these Egyptian gods that they served, because they had gods that were set up over all these things. Horus and Set and Kek and all this stuff like that. All right, gods over certain things that they, that were in their everyday lives that they worship, and so on and so forth. All right. So it says, I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. All right. I am the Lord Yahweh. Okay. So verse 13 says, and the blood shall be to you for a token, for a sign, for proof, right? Upon the houses where ye are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. That plague was the plague of death, okay? So if you didn't adhere to this, if you were an Israelite and you didn't listen to what was commanded, you were put to death because you didn't do the Passover, all right? And part of the Passover, the main thing I'm trying to point out is you didn't put the blood on the doorpost, because that was a sign that, okay, this is one of mine. All right, well, this is one of the Lord's. Okay, so let's keep going. Feast of Unleavened Bread. It says, "And this day," and the reason why we're going to read this together because it goes along, with it. So it says, "And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever." Right, forever, which is why we do it today. We rehearse the righteous acts, man. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. All right, so we're going into the unleavened bread, as we just spoke about above. The Passover is one thing. That's that particular night. But then that whole entire week is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where all the leaven is supposed to be taken out of your house. If you're eating flat, and you're supposed to, I believe, if I'm correct, you're supposed to eat the flat bread every day. All right, which, like I said, I like flat bread. I don't know about you. I really like it. Really tasty to me. All right, so, yeah, so you eat the unleavened bread on the night of the Passover, as well as the remaining days of this feast of unleavened bread. All right, so you're supposed to eat it every day. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. You see right there. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. Yep, see, that's what you just mentioned. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be, I'm sorry, who shall, y'all read it right, who shall ever eat it leavened bread, right? Basically bread that rises, okay, as a normal loaf or something like that, you will see. All right. If you eat that from the first day, all right, from the night of the Passover, all right, and throughout the whole feast of unleavened bread, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day, there shall be an holy convocation. And in the seventh day, there shall be an holy convocation. Excuse me, this word convocation, excuse me. We can pull it up. Makwara. It says convocation, convoking, reading, a calling together. There you go. Sacred assembly. All right. A solemn assembly. Let's see what Quara says. Quara. To call out, recite, read, cry out, proclaim. Okay, pretty much the same all there. Quara. And then you have Baquara. So yeah. All right. A holy convocation. And in the seventh day, there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. All right. So whatever, you got to obviously cook, or, you get the point, man. It's pretty basic there. All right. But I want to hang on the point where it says no manner of work. Right. That's impossible today. All right. This is why we needed Yahushua so badly, man. All right. Because according to all the commandments and the law and things of that nature back then, we were just out of there, man. All right. There was just no making it. All right. So we needed Yahushua to step in, which he did. You can read this in the book of Hebrews, man. All right. I want to say it's one of those chapters is Hebrews 7. As a matter of fact, it might pop up as a precept. I'm not sure. Because there's a few chapters there. So it doesn't mention Hebrews, but I believe I don't want to just, kind of float around just looking for scripture. I believe one of those places is Hebrews. Actually, no, I believe that was dealing with Melchizedek. So I might be thinking about something else. But anyways, but yet, the point being, Yahushua had to become all these things for us. All right. That we even will have, a hope of mercy from the Lord. Okay. So because otherwise, there's just certain things written in the scriptures that we wouldn't be able to keep today. Okay. So without Yahushua, we just wouldn't even be here, period. Okay. We just, there's no hope without Yahushua. You see? So it says, no manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. Verse 17 says, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. And I believe that's twice he said that now. Okay. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, which is basically evening time. Okay. At even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. All right. Because that's a whole week. All right. A 7-day week. All right. So it says 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. All right. These are talking about Israelites. All right. Okay. So because remember we migrated into the land at one point, but then also living here because in the early books of Exodus, all right, we were multiplying. They got afraid. So those are Israelites that were born in the land. Okay. but they're still Israelites. They're not Egyptians simply because they were born like here in America. I was born here in America. Doesn't make me an American. Yeah, by citizenship, of course, but by nationality, I'm an Israelite. Okay. And this is the second time he said the same thing here. If you eat, all right, you will be cut off from your people. Okay. So, and as I always say, the Lord will tell you something once, but if he tells you twice, or especially more than that, but if he tells you twice, how serious is he? All right. It says, ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Ye shall eat unleavened bread. Okay. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. Right. So, however many, take, you get what, as we read up above. It says, and ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin. All right. So we can get hyssop, which I believe this was talked about before, a while back when we spoke about Yahushua on the cross, when they tried to give him the vinegar. You have to think about it. He probably had a busted lip. It was cut and bleeding. You know how much that probably would have burned him, man? Come on, man. Hyssop, a plant used for medicinal and religious purposes. If we can, we'll see if we can. A small bushy aromatic plant of the mint family, the bitter minty leaves of which are used in cooking and herbal medicine. Also says, in biblical use, a wild shrub of uncertain identity whose twigs were used for sprinkling in ancient Jewish rites. Okay. I want to see what comes up here. Okay. See hyssop. So a bunch of hyssop. All right. Basically grabbing a little bundle of it, which that pretty much should have been straightforward anyways. So it says, and ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the two side posts. All right. And that's what we read up above as well, as we can get the word lintel though. All right. Mashakwak. Mashakwak. I'm sorry, Mashakwap. If I'm correct. Yeah, Mashakwap. Yep. Mashakawap. Mashakawap. If I said that right. Lintel, all right, of the door, all right? So they're straightforward there. All right. Shakwap. Or Shakop, excuse me, Shakop. So we don't need that. All right, so anyways, yep. So it says, strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. I guess we can go see what a basin is. I mean, it's pretty much understandable what it is, but never really pull it up, though. Spreading out, basin, goblet, bowl. All right, basin, goblet. So what am I doing? Highlight that. And we go over here. A bowl for washing, typically attached to a wall and having faucets connected to a water supply. A wash basin. Also says a wide, round, open container, especially one used for holding liquid. All right, and that's probably the one we're talking about. Oh, so they went to the land. We just wanted the simple bowl. Yeah, we're probably not gonna find one, but it's pretty much straightforward what we're talking about there. So straight, understandable. So yeah, all right. You shall go out. It says, none of you shall go out at that door of his house until the morning. All right. So one will, you're supposed to cook that, that lamb before the evening falls, and then when the Passover comes, you start your whole Passover ceremony. All right, and do accordingly as we read, and you have to come out. But of course, living in today, all right, men have to go to work. And if you off, you might be off. And if not, then yeah, you gotta go to work. And it is what it is. You don't think the Lord knows that? Like He didn't put us in captivity. All right, that's why we keep mentioning how we're rehearsing the righteous acts, but doing the Passover, all right, shows our diligence, and our reverence for the Heavenly Father and His commandments. All right. So that's the end of Exodus chapter 12. Oh, actually, I said we were going to go down to 32. Then, let me see here. Yeah, let's get those verses real quick. A memorial of redemption, right? Exodus 12 and 23. For the Lord Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when He seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, all right, the Lord Yahweh will pass over the door. All right, so basically the two, when you walk through your front door, you see the two sides and one on the top. All right, that's what it's talking about. It says, and the two side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door, all right, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And that destroyer was Yahweh Shah. And we can get the word destroyer here, see what it says. To destroy, corrupt, to go to ruin, decay, to be marred, to be spoiled. So basically to destroy, all right? Main word there. Okay? I wonder what precepts might be here, if anything. Suffer the destroyer. Seems to be some things here. Oh, hey, didn't we just mention this? Yeah, look, Isaiah 37:36. The angel of the Lord Yahweh went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. All right. A score is 20. So four score would be 80. So 180 and 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. Bam. You see? Can't make it up, man. This is beautiful because we read this verse all the time. Ezekiel 9:4. So the mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cried for the abomination that be done in the midst thereof. This is similar to what we also read in Peter, 1 Peter 4:17, where judgment shall begin at the house of Israel. This is a similar scripture. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. They begin at my sanctuary. They begin at the ancient men which were before the house. You see? Those that understood, right from wrong. Hebrews 11:28, through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. And I mentioned Hebrews. Yep, I just thought about it. Mentioned Hebrews, all right? Hebrews 12:24, and to Yahweh the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. Which the blood of sprinkling, referring to, if I'm correct, that was the covenant in Exodus 24, the blood covenant we entered into, where Moses sprinkled all the blood from the basin and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's a good verse for these modern days, right? The top of Revelation 7. All right. So yeah, bam. Okay, the beautiful verses there. All right. So let's get back. So verse 24 says, and ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. All right, forever, right? So it says, and it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord Yahweh will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. Okay, once I deliver you and you get where I tell you to go, you're going to continue doing this because he already said forever multiple times, right? So it says, and it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? Then ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children. All right. And this is very important because when you're dealing with today, all right, what do you got the Israelites teaching their children about? Pagan customs, all right? Halloween and Christmas and birthdays and so on and so forth. All right. And mainly looping back around to the point, Easter. Oh, I do it for the kids, bro. Well, the Lord gonna kill you for the kids, all right? Because he's not dealing with Easter, talking about some bunny rabbits laying eggs and stuff like that, all right? And I believe other nations, right, have this customs, all right? Even the Moabites and all these people, they had these customs, man, of hiding eggs that were painted and so on and so forth, okay? That is an ancient pagan custom, and the Israelites followed because under these heathen nations, they picked up their ways, man. And so even to this day, you see the Israelites doing what? Picking up the ways of the heathens. And in particular, we're talking about Easter, man. You're not supposed to be teaching your kids about Easter. You should be teaching your kids about the Passover, as we just went into the word Passover and briefly broke it down, man. You see? Which it didn't take but, 30 seconds, really. But, brothers can, pull a whole lesson from that. But it doesn't take much. Just go into the word Easter, Pesach, all right, Pascha, Passover, okay? Easter shouldn't be there. And then, you can go and find some history on that. But anyways, then ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians, and delivered our houses, and the people bowed head and worship. Okay? So it says, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And the scriptures tell you, as we mentioned the last time, train up a child in the way that they should go. Actually, I don't think we brought that particular scripture up. We went to the one in Deuteronomy chapter 4, okay? I believe this one is in it's like Proverbs or Ecclesiastes, if I'm right. Train up. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I'm not sure. That's up a child. See if we can get this. Yeah, Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. All right. So being trained up in Easter, the child is going to keep doing Easter. And the parents are going to keep doing Easter. And the parents are going to keep doing Christmas. And the parents are going to keep doing this and doing that. Because their cop out is I do it for the kids. Well, you're the parent, especially the man over the household. Okay. So, the Lord's going to bring a judgment for that. And we read this one the last time. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. You see? And we enter to a blood covenant, Exodus chapter 24. Also another one, you can go into Deuteronomy 33. All right. But let's go back and finish this. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. What's this right here? Exodus 11, 1 through 10. There's another, okay, we read that actually. But anyways, verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight, the Lord Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And it's beautiful because the scriptures talk about at midnight there was a cry made. And as we just mentioned before, who's the modern day Pharaoh? It's the banking families, all right? Because America is a spiritual Sodom of Egypt, okay? And so at midnight, all right, there was a cry made, okay, where the bridegroom called out, okay, and called out for the bride. And the Lord's going to jack up this earth and deliver up the elect, man. All right. In spectacular fashion. Not some ships and airplanes, right? On a chariot. All right. In style. All right. Style beyond style. All right. It says, and Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. All right. The Lord making due on his promise, man. This plague, man. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night. All right. He couldn't even wait. All right. Nah, get them now. Bring him. All right. Bring them. Rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. Why would I want to do that? But hey, this is what the Lord had to do to break Pharaoh. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. He broke Pharaoh. We can finally leave, but it's not over yet. He's going to harden Pharaoh's heart once more to come and chase us down, man. All right. He's going to deal with him, justly. All right. Justly. So we're going to end that one here. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 through 32. So this is basically a part one. So Lord willing, you will edify. Till next time, Yahshua, I'm going to say shalom.